North Korea confirmed on Wednesday it test-fired a new ballistic missile from a submarine. A day earlier, South Korea's military said a missile was fired off the east coast near Japan, from the port of Sinpo in North Korea, where Pyongyang keeps its submarines. But they couldn't determine if it was fired from a submarine or from a test barge. North Korean state media KCNA released photos that appeared to show a thinner, smaller missile than earlier submarine-launched ballistic missile designs. A smaller missile could advance more quickly on a submarine, analysts say. It may also be a previously unseen model showcased at an exhibition in Pyongyang last week. The smaller design also means more could be stored on a single submarine, although fired with a shorter range.
U.S. officials tonight closely monitoring China's missile program, following a report of a possibly ominous missile test. The Financial Times, citing unnamed sources briefed on the intelligence, reports China tested a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile in August. The report says the missile circled the Earth before speeding toward its target, demonstrating an advanced capability in space that, quote, caught U.S. intelligence by surprise. China denies testing a hypersonic missile, saying the test was a, quote, routine spacecraft experiment, and implying it was for civilian purposes. But analysts say if the report is correct, China's not only got a missile that can fly at 5 times the speed of sound and is more maneuverable than a standard ballistic missile.
We begin with Syria, where state media say 2 roadside bombs have exploded near an army bus in the worst attack in the capital in years. At least 14 people have been killed and several others are injured. Authorities are calling it a terrorist attack. No groups claimed responsibility so far.
A bus carrying soldiers was targeted, so it was the military that was targeted. What we understand from state media is that there were 2 explosive devices that went off as the bus was passing. And according to them, there was a 3rd explosive device that did not go off and that they dismantled it. Now, the regime definitely has many enemies. When they use the word terrorists, they mean the opposition. Now, of course, the armed opposition is among the regime's enemies, but they are largely confined to the north of the country. Also, there's ISIL, which continues to operate in the center of Syria and engage in ongoing clashes with the regime time and time again.
The Taliban continue to provoke the international community. In the latest, the Taliban have rewarded family members of suicide bombers who attacked US and Afghan troops. Not only that, it openly boasted of this act by posting pictures of the event on Twitter. The move has yet again shown that the Taliban are back to their old ways. On your screens now are pictures of the Taliban's acting Interior Minister Sirajuddin Haqqani. He is greeting suicide bombers' relatives in Kabul's Intercontinental Hotel. Each family received $112. They have also been promised a plot of land. Haqqani praised the suicide bombers as heroes. His face has been blurred in the photos tweeted by the Taliban.
It is the first time that Hezbollah has disclosed the number of fighters in its militant arm. Leader Hassan Nasrallah said Monday that the group has 100,000 trained fighters. If true, it would be larger than the size of Lebanon's armed forces, which are estimated at about 85,000. Nasrallah's speech is the first since 7 people were killed in gun battles on the streets of Beirut, the worst street violence the city has seen in years.
We have 100,000 fighters who are trained, organized, structured, armed and experienced. They are believers and they are ready for combat. If we give them a signal, not even an order, they will destroy entire mountains.
Breaking news here in Germany, where authorities have arrested 2 former soldiers on terror charges. Federal prosecutors accuse the men of attempting to form a mercenary group to fight in Yemen. Prosecutors say the plot involved former soldiers and police officers. The veterans were taken into custody following raids on their apartments in southern Germany on Wednesday morning.
Well, Phil, as you say, these two former soldiers were arrested on Wednesday morning, and according to investigators, they wanted to form a sort of private army made up of up to 150 personnel with the view to fight in the civil war in Yemen. And according to investigators, these two former soldiers were aware that this would involve acts of killing, including of civilians.
We are following some breaking news at this hour out of Texas. We are getting some information about a plane crash there. Crews responding to the scene in a field in Brookshire, Texas. This is outside Houston, not far from the Houston Executive Airport. What we know at this point is that there were 21 people on board that plane, 18 passengers, 3 crew members. You're looking at some video now from when the crews first responded here, fire crews first responded. As we understand it from our affiliate in Dallas, this plane was taking off from that executive airport, 21 people on board in total. It had trouble apparently gaining altitude after takeoff and then crashed in this nearby field.
An early morning commuter train in Australia derailed on Wednesday after hitting an abandoned vehicle, trapping the driver and wounding several others. Authorities said the 4-car train hit the car in Wollongong, just 56 miles south of Sydney, at 4:15 a.m. local time, knocking the first carriage over and tilting the second. Firefighters rescued the train driver, who was taken to hospital along with a guard and 2 of the train's 9 passengers. Police set up a crime scene after a person was reported running away from the site of the incident. It was not known how long the van had been parked on the tracks. Wednesday's derailment further adds to commuter problems in Sydney. Train drivers had already planned a strike against privatization plans on Wednesday, which was expected to shut down 70% of trains.